What do you say? Immunized? What is the
Yeah.
word he says? Is that the real word?
That's not what they
Hold
asked.
on. Okay, we starting without starting. Okay, before we really get rolling, what's good, y'all? It's your boy G, alongside Alec Foster, the episode of 1600.
Yes,
Thank you guys
sir.
for tuning in. Make sure you guys follow the show wherever you're watching. We're listening on our podcast streaming services. Like, review, subscribe, all that for us. Appreciate all the love. Back and rolling as always. Quick little note. Shout out to Live Raw Company. I got a good hat from them. We're really liking the hats. Got the low cut now. I forgot to point out last week. Got the low cut now. Chopped it off after 2 years. Had to clean up the look a little bit. Now I got some room to rock the hats again. So shout out to Live Raw for the hat that I got here. And yeah, just a lot of great things there. So as we kind of started off with, before giving any preface, actually before I even go there, just Alec, because we got all the kind of things we want to talk about. Before anything else, Alec, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's good to be back on the pod. We kind of been doing like every other week. It's been like every 2 weeks or so.
Life's been crazy, man. We all trying to make moves and stay active and all that. So we're doing our thing, but always glad to be back here.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a lot of stuff even today that came out. Not so good things, but definitely a lot to discuss. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it all. And as you guys see above me with my little guy, whatever, I got the football. Let's go straight to the NFL things going on right now. And we can start with some good things on the NFL side. We can start with the bad. Where would you like to start with the NFL stuff going on right now?
Man. I mean, I feel like we should just get Henry Ruggs out of the way.
All right. Let's go bad first. I feel that. Let's get straight to it. Rough situation, I believe 3 days ago now, 4 days ago, depending on when you see this. Henry Ruggs, that was a now former star Raiders receiver, was out in Vegas in the middle of the night, going down some highway, going 156 miles an hour. Was drunk at the time. I believe they said his alcohol level was double the limit, or whatever how you probably term it, and ran into another car that immediately burst into flames, killing the woman that was driving and her golden retriever that was in the car with her. I actually wanted to make sure I get her name if possible.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen her name.
I believe Tina Tinter is her name. Okay. Rest in peace to her. Very sad incident there that went down. And just very unfortunate. Like Henry Ruggs, like I said, was a rising receiver for the Raiders as they're getting things going in Vegas right now, and they're trying to change their fate. They've had a good start to the season, are ahead of Alex Chiefs at the moment. Had high hopes. And for your star guys to go out like this, it caught everybody by surprise. And it's just a very sad situation all around. Alec, what do you think about what is going on with Henry Ruggs in the last couple of days?
Yeah, I think extremely sad situation. When I first saw that on Instagram, I believe I was like, wow, like that is horrible. I mean, we all know the dangers of drinking and driving, but it's just so tragic that someone had to lose their life because of the bad decision that he made. And a lot of people have pointed to that, like, there are, obviously you could take a Lyft, take an Uber, someone drive you. That the NFL also has a service for that specifically, like for players who are inebriated and need a ride somewhere. So I hope that no one in the future repeats this mistake, because this isn't something that you need to learn from by doing trial and error yourself and driving. Like, you should be able to have seen the countless stories of people harming themselves or harming others, or both, with drinking and driving. So I hope that this is something that doesn't happen again. I hope her family can find peace. As you said, major rest in peace to her. It's just a really tough situation. I understand where Derek Carr was coming from. He's been catching some flack and getting some support as well too, but I understand where he's coming from as far as saying that Henry Ruggs needs love at this point. I mean, I'm sure he's not feeling the greatest about himself after unintentionally taking someone's life, and career probably over, probably going to do jail time. And I'm sure he's not going to be in the best place. So I understand him, Derek Carr, having compassion and voicing that to the public, just that he's going to continue to love on him. And I respect that. I think that's commendable. But yeah, it's just a really, really sad situation.
Yeah. Definitely salute to Derek Carr. He appears to stand on that side whenever situations like this arise. We saw also with Gruden that he had a similar stance about showing love and grace and criticizing the sin before the man. I forgot exactly what his quote was, but it was just something along those lines. So I respect him for that. At the same time, though, I hope that others don't see this and say, if I make a mistake, I'll have grace from folks, so I'll still be okay. I understand that there still is a big punishment that Henry Rodgers is still having to pay with his career seemingly over now because of his mistakes. So, yes, there are going to be folks that are still in your corner. Yes, there are going to be folks that are going to try to protect you, whatever the case. But this wasn't an avoidable situation to begin with, as you pointed out. I hope that people learn from this mistake that was made. So, yeah, just hope that going forward, family can find peace, as you said, and that Henry can have some positive turnaround himself as well. So, yeah, we shall see what's going on with that. The last thing that came to mind with the situation was just that I believe it was 2-3 weeks ago, the Raiders played the Eagles, and it was a reunion between a couple of Alabama boys and Henry Ruggs and Devontae Smith, who were part of that great receiver group at Alabama a few years ago. They had a thing that they did before every game in Alabama where they would go do some like under the leg kind of dunk, high five. Everybody has the creative handshakes these days, and that was their thing. And before that game, they finally reunited in the NFL and got to do that handshake again. It was a great moment to see, and just seeing how you could be at such a high and reunite and the rise you make with your guys and all of that, and then the fall that we now see. It's just a sad thing to witness. And I just hope he has a positive turnaround from this moment on. So we shall see. But very tough moment in Vegas. They've had a few tough moments recently. I mentioned Gruden's name. He has his own things going on there. We'll see how the Raiders respond and who fills in for a guy that was supposed to be one of their top receivers for that squad. So. Gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. Staying kind of on this kind of rough topic stuff, we'll just get all the way first. Is my will address it, and then we'll get to the positives. Not similar, but just on another kind of interesting note, Aaron Rodgers was a guy that I saw as a leader and great face of the league and all these great things, and in the midst of all the vaccine stuff going on.
He just skated right by.
He just kind of slid under the rug some kind of way and skated by and was able to go unvaccinated without any consequence because he made it seem like to the media that he was all good. But after testing positive for COVID, I believe a day or two ago, it was revealed that he still is unvaccinated. And then when people look back at the interview where he said he was and realized, wait, he didn't actually say he was vaccinated. He said he was immunized or whatever. So it just has led to a big fallout. People have talked about how all season long so far, with him now being known as unvaccinated up to this point, you look back and he's rarely ever wearing the mask on the sideline. And after the Cardinals game a week or two ago, after that great finale, he was up in Kyler Murray's face, giving him a nice little talk after the game and things like that. So to go from that, where you were clearly very careless with all that was going on, to not having the COVID yourself, it just raises a lot of eyes and has created a lot of questions and a lot of frustration around the sports world. So you were at least fantasy wise, you're a big Rodgers fan. You have him and Devontae on your squad. How are you feeling about Rodgers and this positive test that he has?
I mean, selfish and careless is like the words that came to mind for me as you were discussing it just now. I mean, it's possible that he's the one that gave Devontae Adams COVID because Devontae Adams was vaccinated.
And Lazard and the Valdez-Scantling. There was like 4 guys that got it in the last couple of weeks. And with them, I believe they all I think Alan Lazard may actually be unvaccinated as well. I don't want to speak.
He might, yeah. I think he was as well too.
Yeah, but having got two big figures on that squad being unvaccinated, definitely could have played a big part into what we're seeing right now with this Packers squad, all on the COVID list at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, and what was I gonna say? What I was gonna say is that he, like, as you mentioned, he's the leader of this team, so I'm sure guys knew on the squad that he wasn't vaccinated as well too, so they might not have been taking it as seriously with him not himself. So, like, as a leader, like, it's kind of disappointing. Obviously, he wasn't there for much of their, like, training camp at all. Like, he kind of like he showed up right before the season started. Wasn't even sure whether or not he was gonna play for them. But yeah, I mean, it's just in a period of time where we're still in a pandemic, there's still these variants of COVID. It's still being caught at a higher rate. Like, we should be at the point now where, at least for your team's sake, like, you're taking ownership and taking precaution and getting vaccinated. Not to say that would have prevented it completely, but much larger chance that you wouldn't have had a small breakout. And because now it could potentially, if they have a breakout, they could potentially be one of those teams that has to forfeit a game.
Right, and they're in the dogfight still in maintain position in division and all of that, and don't want to give that up because of something like this. So that definitely is a tough thing to see. And hopefully guys can step in. Aaron Jones is still available. We saw the Randall Cobb and guys like that fill in. Devontae is back, so you have some pieces that will still be around. But not having your leader there, definitely can play a big part. So we'll see how their first round draft pick Jordan Love can step in and keep them afloat. So it's gonna be fun to see. Focusing back on Rodgers though, people are saying the truth is now out on him. People are saying that he has shown for a little while now that he's very much, as you said, selfish, by himself, rude, all these kind of things. But because of the talent, we kind of ignored it. And catered to it, as the Packers did, allowing him to miss training camp and all of that, and then show up and kind of go about things as he has done. And now with this COVID situation going on as well, it just adds on and shows that this guy just does what he wants to do, doesn't care what the rest of the world will try to advise him on and what may be the right thing. He's going to go his own way. Do you believe that to be true now with what we see, or is this just a selfish moment just within itself?
It's hard to say with the Packers organization because they haven't really done right by him, like, over the years. Like, they could have helped him be in a better position to win another Super Bowl. There were several times where he talked about, like, he wanted them to retain players that they let go that were major parts of them winning, like Jordy Nelson and I think one of his O-linemen. And then as far as, like, drafting players, like, they went ahead and drafted Jordan Love when they could have drafted another receiver, or another skill position player to help Rodgers, because they've been able to mask their bad front office moves with Aaron Rodgers because he's so good at the quarterback position. Like, he masks a lot of your problems. So it's hard to say whether he's been selfish. I mean, I think this was a selfish move as far as not taking the precaution to get vaccinated, but I think he has been selfless to a point, and now he's kind of, like, over it with them. I think we saw that in week one. Not that he, like, threw the game, but just, like, going into that game and, like, the press conference afterwards, like, you kind of saw that he's a little bit over it, like, with this organization, and they drafted his backup already. So he's like, I mean, like, if you're preparing for me to go, like, what more do I owe you, kind of thing. So I think now he's probably in a selfish mindset in this final year, because I guess this is the last dance, they're calling it, with Green Bay. So I don't know if he's an overall selfish person, but
it's a little bit of both. It's like, yes, I can't say he's selfish, diva-ish, however words you want to put onto him. But at the same time, as you kind of describe, like, it's kind of deserved or based on what we've seen, like, he kind of has to be that way, because if not, they might keep him to the curb or wherever the case. So he had to act this way, at least partially, because of things that have gone on around him as well. In regards to COVID, that's a selfish by itself. I think maybe in the midst of everything else and the selfish diva mentality that he has developed, that kind of just this came up. He's like, oh, I'll be good and I'll get immunized and don't have to worry about it rather than getting the actual vaccine.
The whole immunized
kind of ties together. But one way or another, it's just a sad situation that had to be this way. I wish guys in league and the world would just take this a little bit more serious, because this continues to be politicized and twisted every which way. But we will see how the Packers adjust and what Rodgers does going forward. There's been a lot of comparison or debate about the handling of his situation and versus the guy in the NBA and Kyrie Irving. Do you actually see similarities, or is that just media games being played between the two?
That's interesting. I don't know that I see similarity between, because Kyrie has had issues before just this vaccination thing.
Correct.
Kyrie has like main character syndrome a little bit. So I think it's a little bit different. I understand, like, you can compare it now because of the vaccination situation, but I think it's a little bit different between Rodgers and Kyrie, especially too if you're just talking about the vaccination situation. Like Green Bay wasn't, or Wisconsin didn't force him to get vaccinated. Like I think he had the choice whether or not to get vaccinated.
Is it worse to lie about it or to champion the wrong side? Like which side? Because I feel like Kyrie's on one side where he's loud. He's a part of that loud minority that's leading this. Not just he says he's not against the vaccine. I don't know. I still don't fully understand. I fully don't understand that side fully. But he tries to make wherever he's standing on he tries to be loud about that in his own way. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers made a little statement, skated by, said it, immunized. Nobody reacted to it. He's like, okay, it worked. All right, I'm just go about my business. And then the truth came out. And now we see what has unfolded. So is it worse to go about it how Rodgers has, or is Kyrie still the bigger issue?
Well, the thing is, like, he technically didn't lie. Like, that's why, like, he knew he was trying to be slick with like that wording saying, I've been immunized.
But it's lying because he knew what that word meant, and he knew he didn't.
I don't think it's lying because I think the Packers organization very well knew that he wasn't vaccinated. Like, because I'm sure they have on record who is and who isn't. Like,
I mean, it came out the same day. Oh, Rodgers is not vaccinated. Like, so they obviously had to discover that. So I'm sure they knew internally. But if that's the case for them, for him and the organization to let him go, as I said, with certain moves, being on the sideline, maskless or whatever, just moving as freely as he seems to be moving, then that's just on all of them then. So do you see worth of the two?
I guess if you call it lying is more dangerous. About like it would be more dangerous if Kyrie said he was vaccinated and he really wasn't. But I don't think he could get away with that. Like I don't think league officials would allow that. So
I don't think anyone would believe it either.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, exactly. Kyrie, we know you're not. It's cool. Just do your thing, bro.
Well, lying could potentially be more dangerous if people are operating as if you are vaccinated when really you're not. But honestly, I think that's part of the issue too in the NFL is like the protocols have become like far too loose. I think we talked about it off air that like even if you are vaccinated, like you should still be masked up as well on the sidelines. Like it's not like you're 100% immune once you get the shot. Like you still have a chance at spreading it or getting it. So everyone should be operating as if they're not vaccinated, I guess. Everyone should be as cautious as they were being months before.
I definitely understand that. The other part is just that what came to mind is that there's people want to be comfortable again. We've been on edge for a while now. So I, in a slight way, understand why folks have at least tried to relax a little bit, especially after getting vaccinated and all of that. But the reality is we can't loosen up as much as we have. We still have to be very cautious of what's going on. I think people have pulled back a little bit too much. on the restrictions. So yeah, just gotta remember what's still going on. I know we all thought it would be a 2-week thing at first, a 6 summer long thing maybe at first.
Extra long spring break.
Right. No, this has been 2-3 years now, and doesn't seem to be slowing down with variants and all kind of other stuff popping up. So still gotta protect ourselves, and like me and my mom's basement right now, keep your space and all of that. For the better of everybody. So
still wash your hands, wash your ass.
Exactly. We said it day one. Day one. We tried to say it. Wash your hands, wash your ass. And y'all didn't want to hear us. Now look at us. Oh well. But yeah. We will see how the Packers adjust. Got a big game Sunday against the Chiefs, which should be a very fun one. We'll get back to that later on. But just looking at other storylines going on across the league, but interesting the timing of it all too, with this Packers thing kind of falling apart. Because at the same time, while they do have a pretty good arsenal there for Rodgers, even though he kind of complains about it, I guess there have been rumors for a long time of a guy like Odell joining that team. People have been saying, "Hey, get Odell with a real quarterback, and he'll be back to that guy that we saw on his first few years in the league." So. There have been a lot of rumblings about Odell. Kind of started by himself, honestly, him and his father, or him on his father's account, however you want to describe it, posting about how he hasn't been getting touches and he's been overlooked and ignored within this Cleveland offense, and how he is just not getting the ball nearly as much as he should. And not because he's getting locked up. I mean, there are corners in the league, legit corners, saying, "No, he's open," and he's just getting overlooked. And it's just that he be finding space again to a point like this. He's back here wide open, and they looks the other way. So a lot of frustration with that. As a result of him now publicizing that, he's been sent home for the last couple of days, and they're looking at a possible resolution. There's one side that says Odell is open to returning. I mean, he's getting open. If y'all just give him the ball, he'll be happy where he's at. The other side where Cleveland's like, you're not just going to continue to poke at us like that and publicly scrutinize us and think you're going to get away with it. So there's a possibility of being cut, buyout, whatever the case, and just letting him go elsewhere because the trade deadline just passed. So, what do you think of the Odell situation? And if you were Cleveland, would you keep him or cut him?
That last question is tough because I don't think his lack of production is his fault at all. So, like, why, if I'm the Browns, why would I cut an elite talent at wide receiver like that when the issue is my mid quarterback?
Right.
So, like, if I'm getting rid of him, I would have to trade him. Which, did the trade deadline pass, or is it's still this week?
It just passed, I believe. I believe it was the second Tuesday.
So now you're kind of stuck with. I mean, you're not going to get to a Super Bowl this year anyway.
My prediction fell apart pretty quick.
I forgot about that.
I didn't have him in the Super Bowl, but I had high hopes for them. Actually, I tried to give them some.
That was like your dark horse.
Yeah, they're my dark horse team this year, and they gonna stay in the dark. Oh well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, you're not gonna make the Super Bowl anyway. So like, I feel like maybe you can cut him since you're not gonna make any type of Super Bowl run. Maybe you will feel okay cutting him. But I feel like with that kind of talent, even though he hasn't showed it in the last 2 seasons, he's been on and off the field injured or just not getting the ball. I feel like you'd want to get value back for him. So I
have to.
I feel like I wouldn't cut him if I were the Browns. But yeah, that situation's tough. Like, as you were talking, I was thinking, like, is this more of a mark against Baker Mayfield or more of a credit to Eli Manning? Because Manning had Odell looking like Odell, and Baker can't even get him the ball. So I'm like, I'm confused.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, at the same time, you got the context of it. Him just entering the league and trying to prove himself and being the young guy, whatever, and all of that, versus the guy that's cemented and now, and also was kind of ostracized in a bit because of a lot of antics at the time, coming to Cleveland and trying to reclaim his name, but then dealing with injuries and all of that. He kind of fell into the decoy range where he's just run around and do your thing, but now that you're getting the ball, we're going to use you to open up space for everybody else. And that's what he did. And when they tried to look his way, because there was a time when Baker was kind of looking his way a little bit too much. It didn't look out that way either.
Yeah.
Right. And then when he was out because of injury, that's when the offense opened up. And said, okay, if you can do this with everybody else,
and everyone was like, are they better without Odell?
Yeah. Right. Huh?
Everyone was like, are they better without Odell?
Like exactly. Exactly. So I'm sure that rubbed him the wrong way, and should have rubbed the Cleveland the wrong way as well. But they haven't really done much to fix that. I mean, it's only been 9 weeks, and they posted that like his dad or him on his dad's account, however you want to describe it, posted that I think it was all from this season. 11 minutes of him running routes wide open, seemingly, finding space and being in situations where he should have gotten the ball. But the play call was designed to go elsewhere, or Baker just overlooked him or underthrew him or whatever. It's just a tough spot. I believe you said you would keep him and try to trade him later on. And I agree with that. I think you can't trade a guy that I believe is still a Hall of Fame talent right now as well. I don't think he's washed or past his prime just yet. I know he has injuries and had to work himself back. But I think he could still be a top tier guy in this league. When you have a talent like that, you don't just let him walk as loud as he may be. So hold on to him, get him the ball and move forward from there. So that's what I would do.
It's a different situation, but like I kind of liken it to like how like Lamar was getting this criticism as a passer before this season. But he didn't have like the weapons around him to where you could truly evaluate like how good a passer he is. I think it's a similar situation for Odell where like he's not producing right now, but you can't blame it on him. Like it's
right. There's other variables.
So like it's hard for me to say like, oh, like he doesn't have it anymore. Like I need to see him with maybe not a top 10 quarterback, but even just like a slightly above average quarterback. Because Baker Mayfield is very average to me. So I can't truly evaluate like where Odell is at this point post injury until I see him with a good quarterback.
To that point, I believe Baker's up for a contract coming up this offseason potentially. Has he talked himself out of those max dollars, or if you're Cleveland, do you still pay him?
Max? Hell yeah. I mean,
top dollar. You know, every quarterback these days, if you're a solid quarterback, you break the record for the.
You get the 40 million.
Right. You think Baker's the next one?
He shouldn't be. I don't know what the Browns are going to be. The Browns, like, I feel like we've forgotten what the Browns were.
That was even the part I brought it up. Just to cut in real quick. I saw someone else on TikTok, one of those popular guys. I'm sorry for not getting your name. I believe it's Bladen, maybe. I think get him and Theo Ash and Spawnhour, those guys, real good group of guys. He talked about, I think he's a Cleveland fan. He had a TikTok the other day where he said how Cleveland having so many mediocre quarterbacks. He had a picture behind him of all the quarterbacks from their past, and that decades of new quarterbacks every other week, essentially. And he's like, when you have a guy like as even though he might not be the greatest, when you have a guy that's at least decent, you got to hold on to him. So with that being the case, the context of Cleveland might give him that money, but if it was anywhere else, I'll let him go. So we'll see.
I was gonna say the Browns will be the Browns, but to that point, I mean, they were very bad for many years and went through, I think, more quarterbacks than they had like seasons, like at one point. To that point, I think you would probably want to retain him, but I wouldn't want to pay it. He definitely shouldn't be getting that contract. That's like the highest ever quarterback contract ever, like Jared Goff got from the Rams. Like he shouldn't be getting paid like that, but you probably will want to retain him if you're the Browns, because as soon as he stepped in, they did become playoff team essentially. They did start competing. So whether you want to fully credit that to him or credit that to the
No,
defense.
there are a lot of pieces.
Garrett,
a lot of other pieces clicked at the same time. It wasn't just him, but having him in the building did add to all the other things that
it gave like stability to that position at least.
Right.
So maybe they'll want to retain him, and I would understand that from knowing their history.
Right. So yeah, we'll see how they put it together. Is there a place if Odell does get cut, you'd like to see him go?
I mean, the Packers would be great. I mean, because Rodgers has been asking for another receiver for so long.
True.
I mean, he's got Devontae Adams, who's arguably the best in the league, but after that, the drop off is pretty severe. It's kind of like a Brady situation where he's no like disrespect to Marquez Valdez-Scantling or Alan Lazard or Randall Cobb, but they're not. None of them are a wide receiver too.
It's a difference.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be a great spot for him.
And I'll say this too, immediately, because I don't, even though we kind of knocked them, they are good talents. But seeing what it seemed like the Bucs have done stacking the deck, if teams can stack the deck these days, go ahead and join them too, and just keep it working out and just add on to that group and make it work. So adding to it, whatever the case, that could be a good fit. So I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, because it becomes a really good receiving core. Like if those guys who have had to step up and be the wide receiver 2 can be like their true wide receiver 3, then you have like a really good receiving core. So I think that would be a great spot for him. Maybe somewhere like LA, like the Chargers.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the Rams go ahead and stack the deck. We got an opening.
They could. I mean,
we just freed up a spot. I mean, we got room for one.
Super Bowl. Basically, a team that has like Super Bowl aspirations, and has like a good quarterback.
Right.
So I would like to see him because Keenan Allen is good, but like hasn't really had like a great season. Mike Williams had a great season to start, but has kind of fell back to like
injuries and things. Kind of brought him back to earth.
Right.
He was the top 2 receiver for the first 3 weeks at least.
Exactly. So either one of those LA teams, because as you said, stacking the deck, like I could see the Rams wanting to do that because ultimately they're going to have to go through the Buccaneers. I think that's what's going to happen. So you want to have as much talent around Stafford as you can get. So maybe one of those 3 teams I think would be a solid fit, but he just needs a quarterback. Like if it's a quarterback that can get him the ball, I'm sure he'll be happy.
It was the same thing we said once the original trade demands popped up in New York and he was trying to go somewhere else. Get him to a team with a quarterback and he'll go and blossom. He ended up going to Cleveland. People said, I don't think it's going to work. And Odell tried to tell us, I'm back and ready to prove myself and it's going to work. And it kind of went as we kind of saw it has. So
and they sent him to Cleveland for a reason. Like New York didn't want him to thrive.
Right.
Like they tried to send him to a place he wouldn't want to go. So
it played out pretty much exactly as they wanted it to in regards to his individual career as Cleveland has still improved themselves. So we'll see if he can end up going elsewhere. But now as we turn more to the positive side, I wouldn't mind him coming to the Rams, guys, with how the Rams are setting the deck. I understand that they have to go and face the Bucs potentially, or are just really pushing hard for Super Bowl, with the Super Bowl being in their building this year, as the Bucs had theirs last year. So they went and just got Von Miller and stacked that defense even more. Great addition that I don't think anybody really saw coming. There were rumblings about Von being moved for some time now, as the Broncos have fallen back into that middle tier of the league, bottom tier potentially, as they figure out quarterbacks and things. Von still being the premier talent that he is, deserved to be on a contending squad. And the Rams said, hey, we got a spot for you, and brought him over. So traded him for a second round and third round pick, something like that. The Rams really care for draft picks these days. So go ahead and take those, and we'll take Kim and make this push. Yeah, it was a great move. I believe they still had some things they're trying to tighten up on that defense beyond Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, and having a guy like Von Miller on that defense as well should help fill a couple of those holes that they were trying to close. So just in that same note, back to Odell. Hey, Deshaun Jackson just got released as he wanted a bigger role somewhere else. So we got room for a receiver now, and we want to continue to stack the deck. go ahead and call for Odell and bring him over here too. I'm sure he would love LA.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I just blanked again. You were talking about
Odell, Von Miller.
I think like the defense on paper should be one of the more elite ones. I mean, correct. I think they've been good, but they haven't been as good as I expected them to be this season.
Right.
But now, like, you have one of the best player, if not the best player at their position at every like point of your defense, as far as the front line, mm-hmm. the linebacker position, and in the secondary. Mm-hmm. So, like, they should be a really stout defense to end this season. And bringing in a guy like that, who I believe has won a Super Bowl, like in Denver.
Yeah, with beat up on Cam that one year when Peyton got his last one.
Exactly. So you're bringing in a Super Bowl caliber player and that winning mentality. So I think that's a great move for them. And yeah, as you said, if they're seeking to stack the deck, go ahead and give Odell a call.
Make all the calls. So yeah. Continue to have high hopes for the Rams. Only confirmed now with the additions and seeing that they're committed for that push as well. And we'll see what goes on beyond that. But great addition for what we have so far in Von Miller, and we'll see what goes on with Odell. But fun things there. On the last kind of noteworthy stuff in the league, there's been a lot of injuries and things that people are still dealing with. CMC might be back this week. Derrick Henry, who was the clear offensive player of the year front runner for the moment, and all of that.
Could have been
MVP candidate, went down with a foot injury. He's going to be out rest of the rest of the regular season, something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, potentially
around. Yeah. But he fell. George Kittle was a top tier tight end, still trying to find his way back from an injury he had. Jameis Winston went down. And he was clearly hurt. He had an ACL injury and all of that. Right. He didn't really care after their last game, dancing in the locker room, doing his thing still, which is great to see. That he's still in positive spirits and all of that. And I don't know if it's fully connected, but Jameis going down and not having a true quarterback now, Michael Thomas is like, you know what? I'm going to just sit down for the season. I'm not going to come back. Y'all work that out, Callaway. I was
you said he had a setback in his recovery. So.
I'm sure. I'm sure. not having that. He ain't trying to play with Taysom Hill. And
that's the thing, because I'm not sure. There was some report that Phillip Rivers might consider coming back and playing football. I was like, whoa, man. I mean, maybe better than Taysom Hill, but they're going to need somebody to step up because Jameis was playing pretty well. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. He was getting the job done for him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a significant drop-off to Taysom Hill.
Of course.
No disrespect.
It just completely changes the offense. Taysom wasn't the best passer. Even Jameis, we saw was at least somewhat mobile or was open to being mobile when needed to be. That kind of caused injury, but is what it is. Just that he was open to that. Having out like Phillip Rivers, who's a pure pocket passer, won't move at all. I don't think that's going to fit too well. But to that note, I guess that's what happens when you have good connections and leave on a good note. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you want to call Cam or Kaepernick, who's a stretch these days, of course, but guys like that, why wouldn't you want to call someone like that who would better fit into this offense? But instead, Phillip Rivers is who we're going to go to instead.
I've been forgetting about Cam. I keep forgetting Cam's a free agent out there.
I stashed him. We have that FanDuel best ball league that we're in. I stashed him on that league, thinking he was going to get signed by somebody, and nobody's touching him. So. On that, I still have a good team around him and still I'm doing good. But I was hoping that I could have snuck in and got him as a piece that could save me at the end of the season just in case. But it is what it is for now. We'll see if someone else calls. Kind of the same note, Russ has been out and is still working out his hand injury. People are rumored about him potentially, Cam going to Seattle. But Russ he went on a kind of a media tour after his injury in the sense that before every game, you would see him working out, going through full 2-minute drills without throwing the ball and all kinds of stuff, trying to show that he's coming back and motivated and his whole positive thing.
It seems like he's coming back.
He's ready to go again. So the Cam's opportunity there is closing with how motivated Russ seems. But yeah, just seeing that there were potential options out there that he's getting overlooked with still. So I talked for a minute. You were gonna say something in there?
I don't know that I was. I think as you were just talking about injured quarterbacks, I also thought about the Jets quarterback Zach Wilson, who I think is out again this week. But they had dude Mitch White, who stepped up last week and had a game, like 300 something passing yards and
400. I think he was the second quarterback ever, I believe. The only other one was Cam, ironically, I believe, to have like 400 yards in their first NFL start, something like that. So
yeah. He was won the game against a pretty good Bengals team. I mean, the Bengals team that's been top of the AFC North.
Right.
So yeah, that was a great win, and now you got some Jets fans saying like that he should be the starter and Zach Wilson should be.
Hey, we're here Thursday, 5 p.m. The Thursday night game is about to start. Jets versus Colts. If Mike White, I think his name was Mike actually. Mike. If Mike comes out and balls against this good Colts defense too, there's gonna be some chatter. There's gonna be some real chatter. So, but we'll see how that plays out. But it was good to see his performances. It's good to see New York young quarterbacks continue to pop up in the league. So, I'm glad he's taking advantage of the opportunities that he has.
No. That was a surprising one for sure. As I was watching NFL Red Zone last Sunday, I was like, really? Like against the Bengals too? Like what?
It was funny. The funniest thing is that there's a lot. I'm on fantasy football TikTok right now. There was a lot of those TikTokers that were scrambling. Oh, if you don't have Mike White on your roster, go grab him right now before it's too late. Like yo, everybody breathe.
Guess who grabbed him in our league too?
Who? Taylor?
Yep.
Oh my God. I always man Herbert. I said Herbert or Lamar. You want either one? No, nothing. I'll take Mike White though. Oh my
God. Who he dropped? Man. Remember who he dropped?
He dropped Russ, and you have Russ now. You have like 4 quarterbacks on your squad. God, I don't get it. I can't say much because somehow my team underperforms every week, and I'm sitting at 2-5, bottom of the league myself, but he's the only other team below us, and it's because he won't get a real quarterback, and he keeps on struggling because of it. So, whatever, man, whatever. I fantasy football is just all over the place this year. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
To that point, but there's a much bigger picture to it. Someone who was projected to be a big fantasy receiver this year was Calvin Ridley. People had high hopes for him and expected him to potentially be a top 5 receiver in the league, with things opening up for him with Julio going to Tennessee. And while he did have a decent start to the year, I believe injuries and things played a part. He ended up actually walking away, not fully in retire, but he's taking some personal time for himself over these next few weeks, just pointing to his mental health and things that have really been affecting him. I don't believe he shared what sparked that. But he said he's stepping away from the team for personal reasons for a little while. And I just hope he is doing well right now. That's a side that is getting a lot of love or a lot of, at least a little bit more, not a lot. It's still a long ways to go, but we see a little bit more acknowledgement on the NBA side. We thought there was a large push from a few major NBA guys in the last couple of seasons to have a little bit more focus on that. And on the NFL side, there is a small movement starting up. Guys like Dak Prescott are leading the way with that, with all that he has going on, and credit to him for things that continue to happen around his life that I've continued to see recently. And guys like Hayden Hurst, who I believe is also on the Falcons as well. Guys like that are trying to push more for people to take more notice of players and their mental health, and for players themselves to care more for that. As that's continuing to grow, I hope that we can wrap our arms around Calvin Ridley during this time and let him have the space that he needs to handle whatever all is going on there. So just hope for the best for him. And fantasy folks, y'all, everything's not based on fantasy. Let him do his thing, and the real world and what's going on there is far more important than your fantasy team and whatever struggles you may be dealing with, because he's not there going to be there for some time. So
I was going to say the response to it seemed like pretty level-headed for the most part. Like I didn't really see too many people like upset that he was stepping away. maybe that's because he's not a big a name or not as big a star, but it seemed like the response was more level-headed than previous times when players have talked about stepping away for their mental health. So I guess that was good to see. As you say, like more acknowledgement has been given there. I just hope, and not in his case, just in general, that people aren't like taking advantage of it too, because then it like discredits people who are actually struggling, like Ridley is. So
there might be one. I'll bring up. I'll say the name a lot later on.
Ben Simmons.
I didn't want to say the name. I wanted to tease it, but if you don't say it, there's rumors about that going on. But I don't want to go there in the midst of this topic. Again, hope for the best for Calvin Ridley. That he can handle all the things that are going on there. And you mentioned Ben Simmons. We'll get to the NBA side in a second. We've already been going for 45 minutes and whatever. I know it's been long.
This will be an hour 30 episode. Just
another long one, but we got a lot to talk about. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Please add to the conversation online where we follow us. I think I forgot to mention that part. Follow us on IG, Section Out 300, TikTok at Section 300, Twitter, Section 300 Sports, all that good stuff. Love to continue the competition there for all that's going on. And lastly, with the NFL side, just a couple games I want to just to talk about real quick. Focusing on our LA guys, the Rams and Chargers have some good games coming up this weekend. My Ravens have a good game coming up. So just wanted to talk about those real quick, and then we'll go on to the NBA. So with the LA squads, the Rams have Sunday night at home versus the Titans. The Titans are now without Derrick Henry, but now have Adrian Peterson, 36-year-old. I'm 36. Adrian Peterson in the backfield alongside is it Jeremy McNichols? I believe his name is as well. They won't have the same impact as Derrick, of course, but should step up decently and fill the void some kind of way, in a solid way at least, enough for Tannehill and the offensive weapons beyond that to do their thing. So do you think the Titans put up a good fight against the Rams Sunday night, or are the Rams going to show with the addition of Von Miller that they're here and ready for a championship run?
I think both. I think the Titans do put up a good fight. I think the running back by committee obviously won't be as effective as Derrick Henry, but I think it'll be effective enough to keep them competitive. I think in recent weeks, they've been closer to the team that I expected them to be. Julio and A.J. Brown really haven't popped like that. Tannehill has been kind of just average, middle of the road as far as quarterbacks go. But the defense has been a little bit better in recent weeks than I expected. So that's been good to see. But I do think the Rams have just been rolling. And they have a great offense. They just need to get their defense to be what we believe it can be. And I think Von Miller really helps that.
Definitely.
There may be a slight adjustment period, but as we said, he's a Super Bowl winning linebacker. And I think this should be a not I'll say like convincing win, not a blowout, but I think this should be.
I was going to say they have the spread 7.5 for the Rams. Do you think the Titans cover that?
No, I'll say the Rams cover that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm leaning Rams as well. I think the Rams, like as you said, solidify themselves this week and continue to show, continue rolling as they are starting to do it again. So Titans put up a decent fight, but don't have enough to compete with the manpower that this Rams squad has right now. So Rams keep rolling. It should be a fun one Sunday night.
Cooper Kupp's been the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. Kind of when we talk about Odell being overlooked, a guy like Cooper Kupp, who the whole world knows is getting the ball 10 plus times now, still they can't cover him and continues to do his thing. So crazy how that's working out for them. But Cooper Kupp is he's top dog right now, and top dog right now, and it's great to see. So
all Matt Stafford needed was a white wide receiver one.
Yeah, God. That's all that was missing in Detroit. He had that one dude. Danny, I think he had Danny Amendola one year. Like I don't know what came to mind just now, but he was there, and he was a little teaser for what we're getting now in LA. So love what we're seeing there. Hopefully he can get the ball to Robert Woods and Higbee, those guys a little bit more as well.
They're spreading it out a little bit more.
They have, but also we haven't really fully acknowledged it. But Darrell Henderson has been doing a good job manning the backfield.
I tried to trade for him.
I think you did that. I saw that.
I tried to. I didn't get him though.
Oh, you tried to. But just either way, fantasy, whatever. Just seeing how he's done. With Cam Akers out for the season, he's been a great fill-in that deserves fill-in or not has earned his spot this year and been doing really good. So salute to him for what he's doing. And there's just pieces everywhere for this Rams squad, and they show that they continue to show it Sunday night. So give me a fun one. For the other LA squad, the Chargers, have a good chance to bounce back this week after a couple of tough L's against the Eagles in Philadelphia. How do you think that game goes?
This is interesting because the Eagles is coming off like a 40-point win.
So
it is. It was against Detroit, but I think the Chargers kind of need that get right week, as you said. They've lost. Mm-hmm. They dropped the last couple. That was a tough one against the Patriots to drop. I think like injuries have been a little bit of an issue again, as you mentioned. I don't know because I haven't watched a whole lot of their full games, so I can't say like how Herbert's been doing. I don't know if you've been watching more closely.
The word that came to mind immediately was choppy. Like they have moments where they somehow just stall out. Like for some reason, as much as
because it seemed like they got off to a super hot start, but I haven't heard the same.
Right, but just in the sense that we're talking about the Rams having that whole arsenal. Like the Chargers had Arsenal themselves, and while injuries have played a part, it also seems like for some reason it's easier to lock up the weapons. And I want to be respectful. I don't mean it as like I know how receivers get and whatever, but just in the sense of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have not been as effective as they were to start the season. And Eckler, while he has came back and hit, that will help.
He's been good,
People have found ways to contain the opposite times, as we saw the Ravens do at large a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how the game plan adjusts and what they can do to get rolling again. So choppy was the word that immediately came to mind for me.
Yeah, and I think that's understandable based on where they're at and how they've finished out their last couple of games. I think the Chargers have the more talent here, so I'll give them the edge. It was interesting how the Eagles won by like 40 points, like I said, but Jalen Hurts didn't really have a very good game. Like it was like their running backs who had 2 touchdowns each between like
Boston. It was weird. Fantasy wise, again, TikTok was so mad at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has been the top 2 quarterback fantasy wise all season long. People had all these high hopes for Cam Gainwell and all the other guys to have a big game. The Eagles put up 45 points, and the main guys didn't really do anything in that. It was a lot of defense and other pieces that nobody saw coming. So, what was surprising. But on the spread is the Chargers by 1.5. Do you think it's
so they got it very close?
Yeah, they have it very close.
I think the Chargers cover that. I think the Chargers cover that by we'll say a score. But
my point to that, taking the Chargers as well, is that with the Eagles, while they had a big game, momentum is very real in the NFL, but it's also a facade when it's built up versus bad teams. I think if you play a couple of good teams and you have some good wins in there, you can continue to carry that on for the season. If you beat up on some bad teams early on, I think who else do we see with that? Like the Panthers, I believe, started off like 3-0, playing scrubs, and then lost like 4 straight once the real team started playing. I think the same thing.
What did I tell you about Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is what it is for now.
Sam Darnold trick y'all at first.
I guess so, but I'm trying to ride for the SC boys, so I'm still kind of watching from afar. But to that point, though, I think while the Eagles had a great game last week, playing against a real team this week, it's not going to be anywhere near that same fate, and the Chargers can end up winning this game. So, as you said, I believe they will. I believe the Chargers will win this game. And it will be a fun one, though. I still think they'll put up a good fight. But the Chargers will be the ones that separate in the end. So, I got the Chargers in this one as well. So, very fun game there for our 2 LA squads. Me being a Ravens fan as well. Beyond that, the Ravens have a fun game this week against the Vikings. The Vikings continue to find ways to lose each week. They do it again this week against the Ravens squad that would like to bounce back after getting smacked by the Bengals right before our bye week. I'm hoping for a big game for the Ravens. Another week of We're not really doing. I didn't really add in for our players to watch anymore. We kind of tried for a couple of weeks, but I will say that I think Bateman gets his first touchdown this week against the Vikings. I think he's been integrating the offense. Had a good week. So he's going to get some touches for this squad against this Viking squad that can be picked apart a little bit. Yeah, I think Lamar will find him this week and he'll get his first one at home as well. I think he's going to jump into the stands and have a nice moment there. So yeah, I got Bateman scoring and then the Ravens putting on a good show against the Vikings. Any comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, just that the Vikings head coach is going to be on the hot seat if they keep losing, just because I think someone, as you said, like on NFL TikTok was talking about how like they have so many weapons like available at their disposal between Dalvin Cook, who's one of the better running backs in the league, Justin Jefferson coming off offensive rookie of the year, or in that discussion.
Yeah, in discussion. Thielen is still very good.
Really, like they have a mid quarterback in Kirk Cousins, so that's part of the problem. But with all those weapons, like you should be able to win some of these close games that they've been losing. So I feel like their head coach is probably going to be on the hot seat soon.
I forgot the exact stat. I think, and you'll remember as I try to say it. Kirk Cousins has a real bad performance. Is it in primetime games or in early games?
I think it's Monday night.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say it's a 10 a.m. game, I believe. And if it's early, who knows how Kirk Cousins is going to show up. So I don't know how much of a part that will play.
I think at one point he was like 0-8 in like Monday night
prime time. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this is the complete opposite of that. So we'll see if he's up for it. But I still got the Ravens. We got the spread at 6 points for them. I think it's that and more potentially. So
I typically like to favor teams coming off a bye week as well too.
Definitely. So
I think Lamar is going to be focused, especially after losing that game, as you said, to the Bengals before the bye. I think they're going to want to get things right.
That was a weird game too. It was close for a while, and the Bengals just separated at the end. So got to fix those flaws that got kind of exposed a little bit in that game, which I think they did, as you mentioned with this bye week that we just had. I joked and said that they took their bye week early and just left in the second half of that Bengals game. They now have plenty of rest now and should be up for the challenge with the Vikings coming into the building, into the bank this weekend. So looking forward to that one. Should be a fun one Sunday morning. So those were the three I wanted to mention for sure. We already mentioned for one other game of the week beyond our teams are the Packers Chiefs. I think you said Chiefs. You want to expand on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I think without Aaron Rodgers, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Jordan Love could potentially have a good game, but it's not the same as having Rodgers back there. Devontae Adams coming off having COVID, so like we don't know how much that will affect him. I think he'll still be effective to a point. Like I still got him in the fantasy lineup, so I'm hoping he will be. But we've seen guys in various sports say that it's affected their wind, like it's affected their lungs and their breathing and their recovery. So that could be an issue there. The defense has been better, but I think the Chiefs, if they're going to make a run, like they need to start it soon. As far as like
it has to start now. It has to start now. It has to start now.
Exactly. And they did win last week, a game that probably most of us felt they should win by a lot more. They only won by 3 against the Giants. But I think they can start stringing together wins now. I think their demise has been a little bit exaggerated prematurely because they do still have a really talented offense. It's just the defense is really bad. So like the defense has to get it together. I think they've been the worst in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Close to it if they're not.
So I think it's a close game still, even though it maybe shouldn't be with Rodgers out. But I think the Chiefs still win it. Yeah.
Got it. It's a Chiefs game to lose, to be honest. And to be honest, I think they do. Though it is in Kansas City, I think just seeing how they continue to play and barely getting by a team like the Giants last Thursday night, I believe that was. Or was that Thursday or Monday? Where was the game that was?
One of those.
Yeah, it wasn't Sunday. It was one of those other games. It might have been Monday night, whatever.
I think it was Monday night.
Yeah, seeing how they played in that and barely getting by a Giant squad that didn't have anybody. Saquon was still out. I think Sterling Shepard went down again that game. Kenny Galladay hasn't really been anything this season
and
yet.
you just say like the Chiefs are coming off a short week and the Packers are coming off a long week because they played the Thursday game last week. So.
Sure. You add that in there as well. Yeah. And I don't think Jordan Love is any scrub. While I don't think he's going to be the perfect successor to Aaron Rodgers, I do think he can come in and be serviceable. I don't know if he's Mike White, but I think he'll do good enough in this game to keep them around. And the Chiefs, who seem like they're, I won't say trying to lose, but they keep games a little bit too close these days and give other teams room. I think the Packers can find a way and just steal this game from them. I believe they will. Let me put that's what I forgot. I believe the spread jumped a whole lot with the
with Rodgers
with Rodgers going down. It jumped from where'd it go? The point spread before Rodgers was the Chiefs by 1 point, and now it's 2.5. So it jumped barely. But yeah, I still think the Packers are going to take this one from them. And if I'm wrong, I wouldn't mind them being wrong because I do believe, as you said, that the Chiefs can make another push this year, even with the woes that they have. So they got to get started now if they're going to do so. So we'll see if it happens. But yeah, fun weekend of football coming up. Very excited for it all. Fun games across the board. Monday night, just to add it in, Bears, Steelers. I don't care, to be honest. Steelers are turning it around. I'll give them their props for that. And as I said before the season, hey, I want you guys to have the best regular season possible. Turning it around. You guys were at the bottom of the division for a little while. Come up and take the 1 seed during the regular season. I want it to go as great as you guys think it's going to go, and then fall apart yet again when it matters most. So we'll see.
Like Ravens and Steelers are always like in the same boat almost. So
in a way. So
y'all gonna have the same argument every year.
Sure, but just saying, I don't mind them turning things around. I think they've low-key won like 3-4 games in a row. Congrats. But I don't think it's going to lead to any major success down the road. So
just peeking at the score right now for tonight's game, the Thursday night game, the Colts are up 21-7 in the second.
Oh, it started already? I thought. Oh, okay. It's true. It is like 6:30. Okay, it's 21-7. Mike White ain't doing much.
I think he has a touchdown. He has a touchdown, and they have the ball.
So all right, there's still hope. Good things are going on in the NFL. Plenty of talk for an hour now of the things going on there, and really looking forward to what's going on for the rest of the season.
Now let's get to the real good stuff.
Let's get to the good stuff on the other side in the NBA.